Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to some more StarCraft 2. We're at the very beginning right here of the third season of 2016. I haven't done my placement match just yet and I figured let's go ahead and share that with you guys. So as far as my map preferences go this season, and this is gonna be on my second account by the way, but they're the same on my main account, I've decided to downvote Dusk Towers Alley, mainly because I really don't like the ramp leading up to the third base, but also the fact of the matter is that I've played hundreds and hundreds of games on this map already. Secondly, Invader Alley doesn't really need explanation, to be completely honest. Not that great of a map in this current version of it, because you simply can't really take a third base in either of the spawn locations of your opponent, which kind of makes it really tricky. And then Arena Alley, while I do like the map, many situations, or in many cases, the map just sort of ends at like the 1 minute and 30-second mark just because of the countless options for cheese on this particular map. So I'm gonna be running King Sejong Station, Ruins of Endion, Frozen Temple, as well as Frost Alley, at least for the moment. I love Frost Alley, I love King Sejong. Frozen Temple is alright. If I could downvote one more, however, Ruins of Endion would very well be at the top of that list. Alrighty, so the very first map that we got is gonna be Frozen Temple, and I'm going up against a Terran player. Now, it is important to note that at the beginning of a season, I know everyone always gets a little bit frustrated by this, at the beginning of a season, basically, you always get placed into a league that is relatively low to where you would be ending up eventually. Because of the fact that, you know, you basically can't be demoted anymore at this point in time in StarCraft, and the current matchmaking being very safe, I guess, they've just decided to always rank you relatively low and then let you rank up rather fast with the follow-up games as well. Now, apparently, my opponent is not too happy with the fact that he's facing another Zerg player here. Not entirely sure why that is the case, because I don't think Terran versus Zerg is terribly imbalanced at all. In fact, I think it's like the perfect balanced matchup right now, at least at the professional level. It's like a perfect 50-50 split at this point in the game, or maybe even Terran having the slight upper hand, although don't quote me on that. I know that might upset some Terran players out there. But either way, I'm gonna try my very best here and show you the best game that I can. I'm just gonna ignore my opponent being a little bit rude here, or not necessarily rude, but him being a little bit salty, apparently about facing another Zerg. But we will keep in mind that he doesn't enjoy this matchup nearly as much as I do, so there may be some cheese headed my way. And for that very reason, actually, I'm gonna scout about a little bit with this Overlord, see if he can potentially find any kind of hidden barracks that he's building on my side of the map. Now, obviously, he would have needed to decide that right at the beginning of the match, so maybe he was too busy hating on Zerg to actually make that decision. But anyway, I'm gonna be opening up with a standard Roach Ravager type build, which is honestly one of the most powerful in this matchup right now. And obviously, there is definitely gonna be a ton of cheese, also because it is currently the beginning of a season, and at the beginning of the season, people are always desperately trying to hit Grandmaster at this level. And people just want to get a ton of games in and hope they win more games or whatever. I'm not entirely sure why that actually happens, but either way, we may very well see some more cheese for the first couple of weeks of the season, and after that, generally speaking, the meta settles down a little bit. Now, as far as my plans go for this season, I'm primarily going to be playing on this account right here, which is going to be my my second account rather, and it's going to be my random account, or at the very least in the past, it used to be my random account. I've decided to dedicate this one to Zerg play right now and get another account or the North American server. I'm currently on the European server to play random instead. I haven't been playing too much random, not gonna lie. As of late, I just simply haven't. Just because I've been having an absolute blast playing Zerg again. If you could not kill my units though, that'd be cool, dude. Either way though, we are adding on 2 more queens here. Already have got 2. Don't really need this worker. You can go back. You can go back there. We're gonna try our very best here to get the highest rank possible on the ladder. And now I get a lot of people asking questions like, hey, what is your goal on the ladder? And I don't really have a very specific goal in mind anymore. To be completely honest with you, back in the day, I used to be Grandmaster for not too long, actually. I never used to be Grandmaster for like several seasons on end or whatever, but I definitely did manage to play against some very high level players, and while that is definitely a very good time, it's very difficult to create content and give commentary to games while also playing at the at a very high level. So my goal, generally speaking, is to hover right around rank 500 to 1,000 or so in the world, so definitely not low either, but not be at the very top of it, just because, well, if I want to get to the very highest level, we got lucky there. If I want to be at the very highest level and I want to be in Grandmaster League and whatnot, it's gonna be very difficult for me to give proper commentary to these games. And I say proper, even though obviously I fail a lot when giving commentary as well. But you get the point. Obviously, if I have to split my attention, it's just gonna make things significantly more difficult. Now we have got some links here. I'm gonna use those to sneak across very shortly after cleaning up this Reaper. There we go. And we'll put some links out on the map. They have recently removed the watchtowers on this map, which makes it a little bit more interesting. And most of the Terran right now are opening up with some relatively aggressive play as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And, whoa. Okay. Okay, well, we need to pull the queens, I'm afraid. That's fine. We'll pull those towards the natural. Gotta put the drones back into the gas as well. And I'm gonna be starting up another gas. We'll use the queens here. Oh, as you can see, he's actually gonna go for a lot of aggression here. That means we're gonna go ahead and also add on new queens, because I probably will need those. And I'm gonna need some of these as well. Now I'm adding on a lot of units here. I'm adding on a lot of stuff. We should be okay though. He's obviously investing a ton into this engage or this aggression. And we got the lair already coming in, so I should be okay against the the Hellions here as well. Oh, I don't actually have... Oh, no, I had it transfused last second. Oh, well. Oh, well. I was already recreating a queens anyway. Okay. Gonna put the drones into the gas right now as well. And all things considered, we are looking rather fine. Looking pretty okay. He will be running out of energy soon enough. I'm also getting my... Oh, there we go. Nice. I'm also getting my... Overseer. Okay. And we'll have to get, another queen over in this base too, just to deal with the potential aggression. Sadly, he did manage to clean up a couple of the creep tumors, so we'll have to replace those too. But all things considered, he definitely put a lot of effort into trying to do economic harassment, and he really didn't do very much of it. Obviously, I was forced to cancel my drone production, which technically is also economy harass. But as you can see, his third command center is only just now going down, which is very, very late. So everything considered, this is looking pretty good. Gonna be getting the double upgrades here, and we're gonna start rallying towards that third base. I want to go for a big push very shortly once +1/+1 as well as road speed finishes up. But before I'm going to start making units here, I'll just start adding on as many workers as I need to properly saturate these 3 bases. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. We'll keep on pushing creep. Pushing creep is very helpful. And ideally, I'd get a little bit more scouting in here as well to sort of judge his unit composition. So we're going to make an overseer here. And now that I've got a solid amount of economy, or actually, I could use a couple more workers here. I was gonna say, now that I've got a solid amount of economy, I'm gonna start making units, but I should wait with that for just a tad longer, until we have the full saturation, which should be achieved pretty much right now. There we go. Knocking down the rocks. Okay, looks like he's actually adding on a ton more stuff. A little bit unfortunate, because I actually just hit a minor supply block. But we still got 5 queens here. Adding on as many units as possible now. And actually, he's got a big amount of units. This is a really weird timing. I haven't seen something like this before. He actually contemplated, or he actually expected me to go for this play really well. And he actually is cleaning up a lot of these units. Really well done, actually, by him. This is very aggressive, though, because he doesn't have very much remaining anymore. But he did manage to do quite a bunch of damage here. And everything considered, this is looking a little bit risky. I did end up losing that base. I'm gonna go ahead and remake the third. But this actually puts him in a really solid place once again. Well done by him. Very well done. It did catch me off guard there. I was scouting, but it was a little too late. We'll have to jump into the replay after this match to figure out what exactly went wrong there. We can still try and do some harass here. It's gonna be tricky. I'm definitely gonna be behind economically speaking. I've not seen this sort of push before, by the way. And while I did invest a lot of eco to try and pull that off, I think it paid off. We'll move some workers over towards our newly acquired main, I guess. Which is not that, not gonna be very efficient here. And I think I may very well just go for another base. Go for the double expo now, because we have to try and do something. I'm also following this up with some additional upgrades. And I'm trying to add on as many units as possible here. Don't know how big his army is. Okay, we'll have to try and do some damage. Oh man. He's got a lot of stuff. Although, he seems to be overextending here though. Keep in mind, they do damage, or they do bonus damage to armored units, such as roaches, but not to units such as ravagers, because ravagers are not considered armored. Okay, we'll keep on pushing here. Move the workers over towards that base now. And my reinforcements will be allowed to arrive here shortly. There we go, there we go. And as you can see, like, he lost a ton of army here early on to try and do some economic harass. And while he killed a hatchery, he didn't actually kill much economy, right? Like, he temporarily halted it, but he didn't really kill it. And we are killing a lot of workers now, which is super helpful. Okay. Keep on pushing here. As you can see, like, if you're too Marauder heavy, you definitely aren't going to be very safe against Ravagers. So once again, they do bonus damage against Roaches, but not against Ravagers, and not against Zerglings either. He's desperately trying to add on more links now, but the Medivacs are near empty, which is good. I don't think my Terran opponent is gonna really enjoy this too much. I think sacrificing that third there, though, was the correct call previously. Okay. Trying to add on as many units as possible. We'll start tacking up towards the Hive 2. Got +2/+2 finishing up right now, which is great. And this is looking a little bit scary, but with +2/+2, I think we're gonna be just fine. I think we're gonna be just fine. You gotta keep in mind, a big, you know, chunk of his army is gonna be Medivacs. And while they do generate, you know, more energy very soon, this is gonna be pretty much game over, I think. We're cleared up so much of his eco. We got 4 bases ourselves. Gonna move these over towards the newly acquired base over here. And we'll keep on running onwards. Keep on running onwards. Okay, there we go. And we'll try and murder as many things here as possible. Everything of his, you know, every unit of his, or every of his main construction seems to be burning, which is cool. We'll send our reinforcing Zerglings over there instead to kill all these mules. Mules obviously mine for about 300 minerals right now, or 250-ish, if they get the full duration off. So if you can kill them at the first second, that does make life significantly easier. He is pulling the workers right now, which is a great indication of the situation in this game. And it looks like the third base will be sniped here as well, with my reinforcing roaches. And my opponent's calls, or my opponent rather calls, well played. Nice. So even though we finished the last season in High Masters, for some reason it decides to put me in Diamond. It's always a little bit demotivating, and I always see people in the chat over on the live stream complain about this situation right here. Because we were definitely, you know, at least top 1000 in Europe in the previous season, but for some reason it puts me in Diamond. It will promote me after like 3-4 games, but I don't know, it's being very, very conservative. It can be a little frustrating. And while I definitely will continue laddering up with this account more, and I will shortly be back in the higher divisions, we'll have to figure out why it was exactly we lost that third base, and whether or not I responded correctly. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did get caught off guard, and there's one easy way I could have fixed that, and that is just by simply having a unit across the map, scouting exactly what's coming in. Now, I gotta be honest though, the push that he did there with the Marauders was very, very unconventional. And I guess he decided to do so after his Hellbats and Banshees scouted that I had a Roach Warren over here. And he started hitting that as well, so it seemed a little bit weird, because he was trying to kill this Roach Warren with the Banshee while making Marauders, which really doesn't make a lot of sense. Because obviously that would have made me produce more Zerglings, which were the perfect counter to his army. Either way though, this is where he decides to go for this little bit of aggression. And while I ended up losing a lot of army here, I think it all turned out to be a-okay, because in all honesty, well, I lost one worker to that Reaper early on into the game, but other than that, everything else was not really lost. And you can see, worker-wise, we still were in a solid advantage throughout this entire situation. Now, here is where I make the mistake, right? I have units scouting his third base. I got the Overlord checking out that he's got a third command center. I just simply don't have anything at this point of the map. I just don't see that there is actually a bunch of army here. And he just walks across it without me being aware of it until it arrives on my creep. Very easy fix, very, very easy thing I can do. And as you can see, I'm producing drones while this is going on, so it's a little unfortunate. If I would have known that he was moving out here, I could have easily made a couple of Marauders, or like a couple of Ravagers or whatever, to kill all of this army. So once again, to reiterate, right? Marauders deal bonus damage to armored. I can't actually show you, I can't mouse over it for some reason, that's bugged out. But Marauders deal bonus damage to armored. They don't deal bonus damage to anything else. Roaches are gonna be armored units, so are Stalkers. That's why Marauders are so very good against pretty much everything that Protoss has, because pretty much all of that Protoss has is gonna be armored. However, Zerglings are gonna be considered light units, and Ravagers are considered to be biological, and I don't think they have actually any kind of specific armor type. Either way though, long story short, the Roach, once you morph it into a Ravager, changes its armor type. It moves from armored to not being armored. So it moves from taking bonus damage from Marauders to not taking bonus damage from Marauders. And while Roaches have a total of 145 life, and I believe Ravagers got 125 life? Don't quote me on that either, but they've got less HP in total. Well, I guess we'll see it very shortly. So a Roach at 145, and these have 120, yeah, so it's 25 less HP each. They will actually stay alive longer against Marauders, even though they've got less life, right? And just because of that bonus damage that is not taken into the equation anymore. So switching into a Zergling Ravager heavy army here made a lot of sense because he was so Marauder heavy. Look at the Marauders. None of this army is really very good against the units that I've got. And while this fight looked a little bit scary here initially, you can see supply wise we were still very, very far ahead here. He just basically put a lot of Axe into one basket. He tried his very best to do the maximum amount of damage with the units that he had. And while he did manage to clean up a bunch of my stuff and he killed the expansion, after double expanding, I obviously managed to get a huge economy up, and he cut a lot of economy, like he cut the timing on that third base as well as the worker production in order to obviously do that pressure. And I think in the end, even though I managed to kill the expansion, I was still ending out or coming out ahead after that aggressive push. So here it was a very scrappy game, but knowing that I had that economy advantage, there really wasn't much my opponent could do. As long as I kept pushing here, just look at the income, right? I was basically getting twice as much army every minute that would go by here, or potentially even more, because the main base is mined out. So I was basically just getting 2 to 3 times as much army because I've got 4 bases versus like 1.5. And at this point in time, my opponent is just simply not gonna be capable of hanging on to the economy that I have and the production that I'm having at this point, and he was forced to GG out. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't already, do make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!